All right, my friend. Hello and welcome to this video. You're in store for a treat today. I got you some special content prepared here, and I want to talk about a really big question that prevents a lot of people from achieving success in real estate, and I want to help you to overcome these mental and very real barriers that not only I faced in my real estate career, but also, pretty much everybody who reaches that pinnacle of success or achieves any sort of results, they had to face these obstacles and struggles and overcome them. So I just want to spend a few minutes here today discussing the most common questions and fears and obstacles that you'll face and how to overcome those. And I really just want this to be content packed, so let's just begin, guys. I think you'll get a lot of value out of this. I suggest getting out a pen and paper and taking some notes here today. And so let's just get started right off the bat here. All right. So, two questions for you here. The first one is, what is your single biggest obstacle right now that's preventing you from achieving the results you desire? Now, I want you to physically write down that question. And then I want you to take a few minutes and answer that question. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video right now and answer that question. And I'll wait here just a second for you to do that. And then when you're ready, come back and we'll continue. All right, my friend, we're back here. So did you actually take the chance to or the time to go ahead and do that? I certainly hope you did, because that's going to help you really find out what is your obstacle, and that way we can address that. Second thing I want to ask you here is, if you and I were to be talking 12 months from now, let's say we're sitting in a Starbucks and it's fast forward 12 months, what would have to happen in those 12 months, the next year of your life, to say that you're happy, completely happy with where you are in your business and where you are with your position in life? I want you to write down this question, pause this video, and I want you to answer this question. Spend a few minutes on this. Spend 5-10 minutes. Really just be real with yourself and list out what would have to happen for you to be happy with where you're at. These are two questions that I ask all of my students. These are questions out of the thousands of people that come across my material and my YouTube videos and boot camp, and those that take advantage of the free one-on-one consultation. There's many other questions that I'll ask you as well, but these are two questions that I always ask. So I've talked to hundreds of people over the months and years, and that's why I really wanted to shoot this video, because I thought it would be super helpful if I can share with you what are some of the most common obstacles people are facing and the most common fears. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video again here, so that way you can take the time to answer these two questions. It's going to be helpful for you to list this out, and then when I come back, we're going to get into those most common fears and obstacles and questions and address those. So I'll see you here in a few minutes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take it for granted that you did go ahead and write down those two questions and list your answers. So let's just jump right into it, guys. These are the most common fears. The most common fears that I see students, that I myself, that anyone getting into real estate as a career, as a business, this is normal. So I just first and foremost want to let you know that if any of these resonate with you, if any of these have stopped you from achieving the results that you desire, you are not alone. This is normal. Every person who's reached, small levels of success or big levels of success has faced these same things. And be of good cheer. This is great news, my friend, because guess what? Here is a huge secret. And it's really not a secret. It's, if they can do it, you can do it. And if you don't believe you can do it, there's just some rewiring and some hardwiring that we need to correct in your thinking. I'll never forget that my mentor shared this quote with me, and I absolutely love it, and really is um, responsible for a huge amount of a shift in my mindset, which has allowed me to go on to achieve levels of success. And it's this. He said, Steve, are you happy with where you are in life? Are you where you want to be in your business? And at that time, I was like, no, I'm not. He said, your very best thinking has gotten you exactly where you are in life right now. Isn't it time that you set the ego aside and you say, okay, it's time that we put some new input. It's time that you listen to someone outside of yourself. See, for so long, I wanted to just do this myself. I feel like, I'm not a genius. I'm not, but I have a certain level of confidence that if I really try something, I believe I can do it. Um, but with real estate, with any type of business, we are all interconnected. We need other people, and so I just kind of want to start by saying that. So it's time that we put some new input. So if you have these fears, I want to just address them head on, because likely improper thinking is going to stop you from achieving success. And I want to, as a bonus gift here in this video, just annihilate some of these fears and questions so that you don't have to be stopped in your tracks and you can keep moving forward, because it is attainable. It is possible, absolutely doable without a question. I wish you knew how easy it were to go out and do this, or simple rather. Does it take hard work? Yes. Will it happen overnight? No. But it is realistic and simple for you to go out and do deals. And I want you to believe that. So start believing that right now. Okay. So one of the most common fears is just fear of rejection, of people telling you no, of people yelling at you, or people telling you you're just a beginner, who are you? That's a very, very common fear, and you're gonna probably experience that to some degree. So I would tell you this. I would say to just act in spite of those feelings, because they're gonna come. But people are gonna tell you no, specifically in wholesaling. Actually, 95% of people are gonna say no to your offer, and that's okay. We're just looking for the most motivated people. And if you've followed along with this series, if you've gone through the boot camp and do things the way that I teach you how to do them, you're going to have an ease of doing business, and you're going to develop a certain level of confidence to where really this fear of rejection just fades away. And as you take action, that's the key word, this really just becomes nothing. You just stop fearing it, because you realize that other people's opinions of you don't matter. And the way that you do this business, you're actually, if you do it the way that I teach you, you're going to have sellers thanking you for your letter, sellers thanking you for your offer. So my friend, don't let that stop you. Keep going. Next fear, fear of overwhelm, not knowing where to start. Well, that held me back for a long time, just going in too many directions, and a lot of people face this, and I'm sure you have as well, because if you're feeling it, just know this, that a lot of times the more personal it is to you, actually the more universal it is, around the world, that people feel that same way around that same subject. So it's kind of a cool paradox there. But overwhelmed, not knowing where to start. So just by the fact of you going through and digesting this information, I'm going to help you be relieved from overwhelm, and really just listening to too many people. I want you to narrow your focus, find that one or two people that you resonate with, and just put one foot in front of the other. Follow my boot camp. Follow exactly the action steps I tell you to do, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we're gonna beat that fear right off the bat. Not having enough money. This is a big one, my friend. A lot of people, they hold themselves back because they think they have to have so much money, or they think they have to be someone that they're not, or that they have to have funding or backing or anything. People make up so many excuses in their mind of what they need in order to achieve success. And success is right in front of your face. It's just a matter of you being motivated enough to go get it. So I just want to spend just a second on this, really, because we've got a lot more to talk about here. So let me just say this about not having enough money, because there's a wide range of people watching this video, from seasoned investors who do quite a few deals that just simply want to increase the frequency and the size of their deals, to the brand new newbie who is getting ready to pay one of the coaching programs, which are great. I don't bash any other programs, but there's the Fortune Builders for 15,000, the Rich Dad Poor Dad programs for 36,000. That are like, hey, they have money to invest, and they realize the value in this time of the market to learn the skill of acquiring deals at 50 cents on the dollar, and they understand how valuable that is in the real estate industry, and how you create generational wealth by learning this stuff now. So there's a lot of people out there who have money who will pay big bucks to learn it. And then there's the brand new newbie who doesn't have hardly a dime to their name. And the type of people that, if you're watching this video, I generally like to design my information in a way in which I kind of weed out a lot of the tire kickers, a lot of the looky-loos, a lot of negative people who aren't really serious about their success. So if you're still watching this video, chances are you are a champion. You are a warrior. But in case you're not, I want to just go ahead and kind of annihilate this fear of not having enough money. First of all, it doesn't take a lot of money to get this off the ground. I did this when I had a full-time job, but I was broke. I didn't have any money in the savings. There was a point where I was facing bankruptcy, back completely against the wall. And I actually have time and time again seen success stories of my students and of others in the industry who have went from extreme poverty, who have went from not having enough money for rent or food or provide for their daughter or son, to going out there, learning this in a relatively short amount of time, 30, 60, 90 days, and then going on to being able to do 3 to 5 to 7 deals per month and make just incredible amounts of money and wealth in this business. So let me simply just say this, that if they can do it, if I can do it, and I'm no one special, my friend, you can do it. But you need to stop making excuses. You need to stop saying, I don't have enough money, because if you're dependent on the government, if you're dependent on other people for your own success, you'll never be successful. And I just, that's the brutal, honest truth. So I just want to be real with you in this video. If you're dependent, nothing outside of yourself is going to make you successful, outside of God and yourself. So you need to learn some new skills. You need to increase your personal value to the world. See, we get paid based off the value that we bring to the world and to the marketplace and to the skill sets we have. So let me just say this, that you need to make your last excuse yesterday. I'll remember when a mentor told me that, Steve, you need to make your last excuse yesterday. See, I used to buy the excuse that launching a business just was too much effort and too much money, but it's not the truth. If you have $100 to your name, you can do this business. And so you just need to stop making excuses and get busy, start taking action. So another thing that I'll share with you that one of my mentors shared with me, and he said, Steve, and you've probably heard this, that there's, in order to become an expert in anything, to increase your personal value to the point where you're just, top in your field, you need to put in those blood, sweat, and tears and have your 10,000 hours of just experience, right? So you can do that, or you can pay a mentor, shorten that learning curve. Not that you're going to eliminate all mistakes and all failures, and generally learn something in 3 to 6 months. And generally, my mentor told me that in order to really learn a skill, and not just some ebook or some course, but a lot of times you can pay $2,000 to $3,000 and learn from a mentor to learn those same skills that would have taken you 5, 10 years or 10,000 hours to learn. So this mentor of mine went on to do over $50 million just within about 3 to 6 years, and now averages over $1 million a month. And I'll never forget when he said that. So when I heard that, I'm like, man, you know, and he also said that, Steve, you can go from making 1,000 mistakes to achieve the result that you want. And by getting a mentor, you can avoid those critical mistakes. It's not that you're going to never make a mistake, because that's just not true. But you can go from making 1,000 mistakes to maybe 100 mistakes. So this is not any pitch for anything or anything like that. I just want to kind of be real with you that if you're sitting there making all these excuses about money, um, as long as you're making those excuses, you're not going to be successful. So just when you're ready and when the pain in your life gets bad enough, I invite you to accept the belief that not having enough money is not a valid excuse, because you may not know it, but there's thousands of millions of people around the world who have been in the exact same shoes as you, or situations or circumstances is the word. Nobody's been in your shoes, but in similar or a lot of times much worse circumstances that you're in, and they've made it. So never fall into that trap. All right, guys, enough about money. On to the next fear. This is fear of competition. I get asked this all the time. Steve, is my area, good enough for wholesaling? What about all the competition? I see other wholesalers in my market. I see those We Buy Houses signs. I see Craigslist ads. Can I really do this? And I just want to annihilate that right away, my friend. Yes, you can absolutely do this. Absolutely. There are more than enough deals to go around in the market. Absolutely. Don't even think that for one more second. You can absolutely be the biggest wholesaler in your city in the next 3 to 6 months if you simply focus. There is more than enough deals to go around. So just start believing that right now. I love competition, and it's not about the matter of being the best or this or that. Just with this real estate wholesaling community, it's just a beautiful thing. It doesn't matter if there's 5 or 10 or 20 big wholesalers in your city. There is more than enough deals to go around, and if you have that fear, it's just you have a limited mindset. You haven't completely developed that abundance mindset. And it's just true. I can't say anything else about it, but there's more than enough deals to go around. All right, fear of litigation. This is a very real fear, and one I had in the beginning. Can I be sued for performance? Will I have to end up purchasing the deal if the deal doesn't go through? There isn't the way that I teach to go about doing wholesaling, and if you do this right, which if you just follow through these videos, you're going to do it the right way. You don't have to have this fear, guys. You're not going to be sued, anything like that. When you have you make your offers and you have an assignment contract, and you can just go out there and Google, assignment contracts and your state approved contract, or hire an attorney. And this is another kind of fear of filling out contracts. So we can kind of address these two together, really. The 3 ways I would recommend going about getting a contract is, A, if we end up working together, all of my students get my contracts, so you don't even have to worry about this. Secondly, B, you can develop a relationship with a local realtor, and or just Google a state approved contract in your area. And then you always want to have the words and or assigns, and you can Google how to fill out an assignment contract for wholesaling, and there's more than enough information out there. And then third, to be super safe about it, you can pay $100 or whatever your local real estate attorney charges, and have him draft up an assignment contract that gives you an out. And the way that these contracts are designed, the only thing that's going to happen is if you don't follow through with the deal, you get a little bit of a ding to your reputation. You told the seller that you were going to buy the house and close within 30 days on the contract, and or 3 weeks or whatever you have on there. And if the deal falls through and you can't find a buyer, you're simply out your time and effort that you put into the transaction, that you put into the deal, and the seller's out a little bit of a time for trusting you, and then you have to tell them, sorry, Mr. Seller, I wasn't able to, fulfill the contract. But you don't have to acquire the property or anything like that. So just keep moving forward, keep learning this information, keep applying this information, and don't even have that fear, because that can hold you back from taking action, and it's an illegitimate fear. You don't need to fear that. So next big fear is the fear of success. And you may not think you have this, but a lot of times it's rooted in our subconscious. We start playing the movie forward, and we start imagining what we would do with 1, 2, 3, 4 deals a month, and the fear of running a business and having things organized and systematized, and how do I do taxes, and do I need an LLC? And we start, just fear, when is the time where I need to quit my job and do full time? And there's some legitimate fears that can pop up, and I know that this happened for me. And what I want to say about that is just to limit that and focus on getting your first deal done. Focus on what's right in front of you, because if you keep thinking about, yeah, we want to go from A to Z, but if we keep thinking about Z, we're never going to get there. First, we have to focus on A, then B, then C, then D. Before we know it, we're halfway through the alphabet or almost to Z, and then we can start addressing those things. And one of the biggest ways to overcome this is really just having someone to lean on that is a few steps ahead of you in the game of life and real estate, and surrounding yourself with good people and good mentors, because they're going to help you with this. But these are actually good problems to have, but still sometimes subconsciously it can root us or deter us from success, and we self-sabotage. So the way that you overcome this is, again, surrounding yourself with positive people, with people that are a little bit ahead of you in the game of real estate, in the game of life, and just taking it one step at a time. So, flipped ahead there. All right, so the last one here is just fear of talking with people. I get this a lot, like, Steve, I have an accent, or Steve, I'm really not the best on the phone. I'm a little, I don't really know what I'm doing yet. And this is natural, guys. You don't have to be a perfect salesman to do this. It's okay. So many people have succeeded in this, that have, English is their second language. Guys, if they can do it, you can do it. Don't let this stop you for 2 seconds. There are people that depend on you. You are more valuable and more talented than you give yourself credit for. So don't be afraid to talk with people. These sellers need you. You're doing them a favor. You're offering them cash for their house to close within a couple weeks. That's a big deal. So these sellers need you. Don't be afraid to talk with people. And the worst that's going to happen is they say, no, I'm not interested in your offer. Please take me off your list. And you say, okay, no problem. Have an awesome day. So don't be afraid of talking with people. And by going through my boot camp and an hour and 46-minute webinar and these videos, you are going to be so far ahead of the competition, it's not even funny. So far ahead of normal, investors out there who are just learning by trial and error through the school of hard knocks, that by just knowing some of these fears and the proper thinking to overcome these fears, and knowing that every person that's achieved results has faced these same things, but they have acted in spite of fear. So my friend, if they can do it, if I did it, let that motivate you, and let that seep deep down in your soul that it's possible for you to do the very same thing. So my friend, those are some of the most common fears. Now let's get into some of the most common questions that I'm asked when I do the one-on-one consultations. So how much time do you need per week to really achieve results and for this to be realistic? So, from time to time, I'll get people that say, Steve, I got about 20 or 30 minutes every other day. I really just want to make this happen. I need to make this happen right now. And, I want to be real and honest with you, like I said through this video. That's not enough. Really, honestly, if you're realistic about how much time, I want you to write these questions down. I want you to say, whatever your name is, John, Joe, Tommy, Rebecca, whatever your name is, I want you to write down and ask yourself and say, Steve, realistically, how much time do I have to dedicate for this real estate business every day or every week? And I want you to say, realistically, I have this amount of time per day and per week. And don't overinflate this just to impress me or to impress yourself or whoever. Be real. Um, and really what it takes to get results in this business is about 15 hours a week. I would say 2 to 3 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Now, there's some people I talk to where they work every other day or they have some type of 312 schedule, like I know nurses and stuff like that do, and different professions, firefighters, they have a couple days on, a couple days off. As long as in a given week you can put 15 hours a week, even 20 hours a week towards this, that's enough to take dedicated and focused action for a period of 30, 60, 90 days and make this into a six-figure business to get results. Guys, I did this full-time in the beginning when I was working a full-time job. I get off at 5 o'clock and do this in the evenings. Plus, at that time in my life, my wife now was my girlfriend and then eventually fiance. So I was balancing that. I'm into working out and different activities, and close to my family, so there's a lot of things that I was balancing. But when this is important enough to you, when the pain in your life is so bad, there's a thing that Anthony Robbins says, that change doesn't occur until the pain of your current situation is more painful than the action it is you need to take to get the results that you want. I want you to just play that back and write that down and put it up in front of you. How painful does it have to get in your life for you to finally do what you know you need to do? How painful, how bad does it have to get? What is going to have to happen to spark that level of desire, to spark that change in your life, to really start doing these things and not just listening to course after course after course, but to actually put this stuff into practice? One of the most saddest things that I see is people that say, Steve, I stumbled across this real estate thing back in the year 2000 or 15 years ago, and I've tried it a couple different times, but I never really stuck with it, and I really just want to learn this. And that just makes me sad because and it's so common, and I get it because in the beginning I was like that as well. But we got to get moving. All we have is right now. So, there's never going to be a perfect time to get going in real estate or anything in life, to get healthy, to start that diet. Timing is never going to be right. I want you to get that out of your head. That's a myth. That is a preconceived notion that will not serve you at all. So, as complicated as things are in your life, and I'm sure they're pretty painful, and I'm sure they're pretty complicated if you're a human being, if you have air in your lungs, but I want you to just go ahead and act in spite of that. And I want you to start just being real with yourself. And you really honestly just need to have a defining moment that says, enough is enough. I'd rather die than make this happen. And when it gets that bad, that's what it took for me, and that's what you'll start to see. When you see results, you just want it so bad. Really, desire is everything in this business and in any business, really. The next question is, how much money for monthly marketing? $100 to $200 a month is all you need to master probate investing and to do wholesaling the way that I teach in order to get results. You need to set aside $100 to $200 per month for marketing, period. Very simple, very straightforward. A lot of that's going to be for your letters to be put out in the mail, and then for bandit signs. So really that's all you need in the beginning, and you can scale from there. And that's why I love probate. There's so many courses out there that teach all these crazy postcard mailers and leads that you need to buy and courses and this and that. You need to find a mentor, and you need about $100 a month for marketing. That's it, period. Anybody can look in their spending habits, whether they reduce, they stop smoking, stop drinking, cancel their cable, work overtime, have a garage sell the clothes, the stuff, the cars, the whatever you don't need. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. So let me just say that, and that's good news. That's great news. So it's possible to just do this with $100 a month. So that's enough for that question. What's the best type of lead? You know my answer to that is probates. Probates are the absolute best type of lead, my favorite lead, and what I recommend you building your business around. So keep going through the information that I'm sending out. Go back and listen to that webinar in my boot camp, and just do what I'm teaching you to do. Do I find a property first or a buyer first? This is an awesome question, and something that that really, for me, I would listen to different gurus and I would listen to different courses, and some would teach you need to go out and have a property first. And then the other one would say, well, no, you need to develop buyers and find out what they're looking for and what they want, and then you got to go out and find a property to fit that buyer. So if you're wondering that, let me just address that for you right now. You want to go out there and get your first property under contract. I've tried this both ways, through pain, through experience. It's much better. You can go out there and find all the buyers you want, and that's a huge part of this business and something that I'll certainly teach you how to do, and it's not hard at all. Even if you have 0 buyers on your list right now, which if you're new, I would expect you to have no buyers. But don't let that stop you either. That's actually another fear is, hey, I don't really have any buyers. It's easy to find buyers. Don't let that stop you for 2 seconds. But you need a property. It's when you truly have a good deal, and if you do things the way I teach you to do them, you will have very good deals that are not listed on the MLS, that are in very good to decent neighborhoods, that have great spreads, right? That have great numbers, that when you market them, you put them out on a bandit sign or on a Craigslist ad, or however you market them, and I'll teach you exactly how to do that. You're going to have buyers beating down your door for those deals, especially at the time of this recording. And I want you to go out there and focus first, because you can have a buyer and tell them about all the great properties you're going to have and all the great things you're going to do for them. Or you can go out there and find a property that's worth $200,000 that you have under contract for $80,000, and you have it for sale for $100K. It needs a little bit of work, and the investor's going to make $70,000 profit. And so you go out there and sell it to a rehabber. You're going to have rehabbers in your area beating it down your door and asking you to be on your VIP buyers list and tell them about properties first. So rather than telling them what you're going to do for them, you're actually serving up an amazing deal on a silver plate. So now let's address some of the biggest mistakes that I've made, and that I see people make in this industry, and what you can do to avoid these mistakes. All right, guys. So let's address this. All right. So the first biggest mistake, and the absolute biggest thing, is just not believing that it's possible for you. Tippy-toeing around this thing. When I see somebody email me that says, Steve, I really like your information, you're really down to earth, I love the way that you're teaching this, I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate that you have enjoyed the content, but really I honestly just, there's a part in my heart that just feels sad for the person, because if we try anything, if you just go out and try to get in shape, or you try to be good at your job, or trying is not enough. You have to go out there and do it. You have to commit with every ounce of your being to be successful in anything. And I used to be very, very timid at whatever I did, just because I was afraid of failing. You don't fail until you give up on something. And you give up on something when you have improper fears, and you give in to that, and you have improper thinking, and you don't have a mentor, and you try things and it doesn't work out, and people, whether it's your family or friends, say, oh, you're trying that real estate again, or you're trying that new get rich quick thing. First and foremost, let me tell you that this is not a get rich quick thing. This takes hard, focused, dedicated work. But if you're willing to work hard for the next 90 days, you can change your life. So secondly, Failure is just a measuring stick. It's just input. It's just data, what worked and what didn't. So I like to get out there and fail now very fast so I can learn what works and what doesn't, and then just keep it moving. So, I just want to tell, I want you to write out this affirmation. I want you just to tell yourself that it's possible, for you. I want you to start believing that. And the way that you reprogram your mind is just by telling yourself over and over and over, and listening to stuff like this video, and listening to things and people that have overcame the odds, people that inspire you, success stories, rag to riches stories, listening to them over and over again. A great person to listen to on YouTube actually is Les Brown, L-E-S, and then Brown. And then also Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. And I know that might sound a little crazy for some of you, but those two individuals are super motivating. A lot of times when I'm feeling down or depressed, other times I'll listen to Christian music on the radio, and or read the Bible and things like that. But when I'm like working out, I'll put on Les Brown or Eric Thomas, and man, for some reason it just motivates the crap out of me. So I just wanted to share that with you. But if you're tippy-toeing around this thing, or you're gonna give this thing a try, let me just tell you to save your time, because it's not going to work for you. You're going to cause pain for yourself and for those around you, and you're going to waste money, and you're going to waste time, and you're just going to fail. So unless you're fully committed, unless you are going to give this every ounce of your being, and you'd rather die than fail, save your time. So that may hit you like a ton of bricks, but I want to just tell you what you need to hear. Second biggest mistake is just listening to too many people, and I have been so guilty of this in the past. We're the most marketed to culture in the history of the world. We get over 50,000 marketing messages a day that enter our brains. We are living in the information age, and everybody has an answer for everything. If you're feeling bad, if you're feeling sick, and you go Google what's wrong with you or your symptoms, like you probably have done before, like I've done before, it scares the living crap out of you, right? It's so crazy. But and the same thing when you're trying to learn a business, and you're trying to learn a skill set, and you're trying to figure out this real estate thing. I'm probably not the first video you've ever seen in your life about real estate, right? So what I recommend in order to beat this, if you're on 50 people's email list and you're listening to 50 different strategies, and I talk to so many students and potential students and people who have seen my YouTube videos that say, Steve, well, what about this, or what about that, or what about this, or do you think this would work? And they have all these ideas, which I love ideas, and that's at the heart of an entrepreneur. But my advice is pick 1 to 2, maybe 3 at most, people that you resonate with. Get off of everybody else's email list, and just decide that, hey, I resonate with this person. I believe in what they stand for. I believe in how they're helping me, and I want to listen to them. Because if you follow and you model, and this is a big thing, how you beat that, you just pick one. And for myself, I like to just pick 1 or 2 people that I can truly model from start to finish. And until I achieve my result, I don't want to listen to anyone else, because what you're going to do is you're just going to cause yourself to second guess, and then you're going to wonder, well, does this work or does that work? Does A work better or B work better? Whereas if you just know about A and you put your blinders on and you focus, you don't have to worry about B. So that's all I need to say there. Just put that into practice. And that's more difficult than it sounds, but the people that listen to this advice and actually go do it, and they get off of everybody else's email list, they stop listening to 50 million gurus, and they focus on that one person, and they do everything they say without asking questions. As far as they just say, I'm going to do what you say. I'm going to, back to that quote, my very best thinking has got me exactly where I am in life right now. That's how it's done. Those people are going to be successful. And my most successful students that have gone out there from being absolutely broke to doing 5, 7, 10 deals a month were the ones that just didn't ask questions. They put their blinders on, and they just did every single thing I told them to do. Next, shiny object syndrome, not sticking with your one thing. So that's the same, very similar concept, not the same, but that, there's a million different ways to do real estate. There's the probates, there's Craigslist ads, there's marketing stuff on the MLS, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, landlords, abandoned properties, all sorts of methods. What you want to do is you want to become a master of one thing. What is typical is someone will and this is subconscious, right? They'll not believe that it's truly possible for them. They'll go out there and instead of committing with everything in their being, they'll tippy toe around because they don't want to disappoint themselves. They don't want to disappoint their family or friends. They don't want to put their butt on the line, their ego on the line. So they tippy toe around so they don't hurt themselves, right? And they try something. They think they're trying it with their full effort, but they're not. And I'm guilty of this, guys, so I'm not just speaking to you, I'm speaking, what's happened to me. And and they don't get the results they want. And we're in such a microwave mentality culture where we want the magic diet pill. We want results today and not tomorrow. We don't want to go through that pain that our ancestors and that people a few generations ago, they'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, start working their land, work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, to provide for their families. We have it much easier than generations of the past. And just being real, in my opinion, our society is a little soft, and we want results now. And so we try something for a couple weeks, it doesn't work out, and then we listen to one of these other gurus and we try another strategy and another thing, and we spend days, weeks, months, and years of doing that, and it doesn't work, and it's just a vicious cycle. So I want you to decide right now that you're going to become a master of one thing, and you're going to stick with it until you achieve the results that you want. And if you're in real estate, wholesaling real estate, I suggest that you master probates, and you decide right now that you're going to become one of the biggest investors in your city, and that it's possible for you to do that in the next 3 to 6 months. And you're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life, and you're not going to make excuses, and you're not going to be dependent on someone else for your success, because that just doesn't happen. All right, so the last final biggest mistake that I see people making, that I've made, oh man, the stories of this when I first started, I'll save those for another time, is overpricing your deal. And this is just emotional response. It's getting overexcited. It's talking yourself into the fact that your deal is worth more than it really is, and or you being nervous to offer that tough price to a seller because you think they might yell at you or cuss you out or say no. So that way you offer them more than you really should, and then you can't find a buyer on the back end and you don't sell it. So the easiest way to overcome this specific thing, and this is one of the #1 reasons you need to find a mentor, is because it's just experience. But the other thing is, as you start going through this information, as you're going through this boot camp, whatever your gut says you should offer. A lot of times we're getting these properties anywhere between 40 and 60 cents on the dollar. So a good rule of thumb is about 50 cents on the dollar as far as what we should offer, because that leaves enough room for the rehabber or the buyer who's ever buying the deal to make their profit and to do the rehab work on the house and to fix it up, and allows us to make our profit. But whatever you think you should offer, especially in the beginning until you've made 100 or 200 offers and you've made a couple deals, it's just whatever your gut says to price the deal at, just to go lower. Offer another $10,000 or $15,000 lower, or depending on the size of the numbers, of course. You want to be smart with it, but just be very cautious of that, because naturally, even if you know this, you're gonna try to overprice a deal, and you really just need a mentor to beat this. So guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up with a couple final thoughts here. Alright, so how can you overcome these questions and fears and obstacles that I've spoke about today? And it's my hope that you have, and it's my intention that I can change just one person's life with this webinar, with this content, because guys, this is just this is the truth, and I hope with every sense of my being that this resonates with you. You know, whether you go on to be successful in real estate or anything in life, I believe you can take these concepts, take these principles, and apply them to every area in your life. And I want you to commit right now to being a warrior of a man, a warrior of a woman, and just know that it's possible. To just know that that your dreams can come true and that you can help other people along the way. You People depend on you, and you have more resources and more talents and more value to give to this world than you realize. And if you don't believe that, um, you know, I encourage you to believe that, because it's true, my friend. How did I beat these fears and obstacles? I got a mentor, someone that I could talk with, you know, not one of those high level programs where you call into a hotline or a big and mighty guru that you can never really speak to, that have a coaching sales team that you call in, but an actual mentor that you can email or text with or talk on the phone with. I beat fear. I beat these obstacles through a mentor. And guys, we've talked about this today in this webinar, I just love this quote, and I want you to write this down again, and just look at it often. Your very best thinking has gotten you exactly where you are in life at this moment. Isn't it time that you got some fresh input? It would behoove you to become a student of life, a student of personal growth. Your success, Jim Rohn said this, your success will never outgrow your commitment for personal growth. It has to be in line. It'll never outgrow it. So the more you put into reading, to developing yourself, to growing every day, becoming a better version of yourself, the faster you're going to increase the value. Because remember, we get paid off the value we give to the world. And the more skills you develop, the specific skills that are going to make you money. So guys, so that's